What's up guys, and welcome to Photoshop. So our next project on the list is this one, and it's actually a pretty cool project. As you can see, we have a 3D line here, but in order to create this project we need to learn one tool first, which is called Mixer Brush. And let's get started. So first of all, let's press right here where you have brush, and here we need to take Mixer Brush tool. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. How does this work? First of all, let's create a new layer and let's delete this background layer because we don't need it. Make sure here you have both of them selected like this. Wet is 0, load is 100, flow is 100, and this is 0 as well. And let's just start creating. So if we start drawing, as you can see, it draws like a normal brush, so nothing really special, just a black color because here we have black color selected. Let's go back. If we take load and make it, for example, 1%, see what happens. Now when we start drawing, it doesn't draw the full colors, so it starts like it ends like after 1%. So what does this mean? This means that we have only here 1% of color, and when we start drawing, the color ends. So if you make it like 20%, for example, I draw, and the color still ends, but it gets a little bit further. If you make it 50%, I can draw, but it still ends. If I make it 100%, then I can draw endlessly. The color will never finish. So this is actually the difference between, as you can see, it's going a little bit slow. This is because I'm using Mixer Brush, not the normal brush. And you will get in a while why this is drawing a little bit slow, because Mixer Brush can do actually a lot more than just a normal brush. So let's create a new layer and let's delete this one. We don't need it anymore. Perfect. Now let's continue. So now I want you to press right here and select ellipse tool. And now in order to draw a perfect ellipse, you just need to hold shift and draw. So if you hold shift and draw, as you can see, it's perfect circle. So by perfect circle I mean that width and height are the same, 61, 61, but you can have it any size you want. And let's press here, and then let's press here on the third one. And let's select one of the gradients here, or let's just create our own gradient. So what can we do? We can press twice here and just select this color, for example. No, let's make it like this. And let's press here twice and select a different color. Yep, like this. And also make sure your opacity is 100%. By that I mean that if I press here, as you can see, opacity 100, I press here, opacity is 100 again. By that, like this, we can make sure we see both of the colors. And let's go now to stroke and remove the stroke, so we just press here. On this one, as you can see, the stroke is gone. Now let's create a new layer. And let's take our Mixer Brush tool again. If you go here, press here on this arrow, make sure you have load solid colors not checked, because as default, it is like this, checked. We don't need it checked, so just press here. Make sure both of them are selected. And if everything is like this, then and also go here and make sure hardness is 100%. Now press and hold Alt if you're on Windows. If you're using Mac, press and hold Option. And if I just press right now once, I can release the button. Now you can see that here we have circle instead of color. So Mixer Brush helps us to draw not only with colors but also with different shapes. If I start drawing now, see what happens. I start getting this cool 3D line. So if yours looks a little bit different, this is what you can do. Press here, and here you have brush settings opened. It's the same like here. And so make sure the spacing thing is at 1%, because what spacing actually does, if I increase spacing, as you can see, the distance between circles increases. So if I start drawing right now, it's drawing circle by circle. If I make spacing 1%, it's getting smooth. Make sure none of these are selected, except the smoothing. Only this should be selected. Everything else should not be selected. And if everything is alright, then let's close this. Okay, perfect. Now let's turn this off and create a new layer. Turn off ellipse as well. Now let's go to wetness. What does wetness do? Let's make this 100%. So if I start drawing now, as you can see, it's drawing a little bit weird. So it's not a defined circle, it's getting like wet and it's getting a little bit smooth. So if I make it 0 and I can draw, so you can see the difference between this one and this one, right? And for your computer, for your laptop, it may work a little bit slow if your laptop is not that strong, because this actually requires a lot of power in order to make sure, because it's drawing circle by circle. That's why it's very powerful. Let's go back and let's turn this off as well. What we can do now is we can go to our folders and just take any picture you want to. For example, let's take this picture here, just an example. Let's just press OK. It's actually a pretty damn good photo, I would say. I mean, you can create a lot of interesting stuff from this. Let's create a new layer. And so here, let's do wetness 100%. And here we have now mix appearing, because when wetness is 0, mix doesn't work. When wetness is 100, or at least 1%, anything, mix appears. So let's make this 100, and let's make mix 100%. That basically means that now our brush is going to mix with the image here. And if I start drawing now, you can see that it doesn't really draw these colors here, but it draws with the photo. So let's go back. Let's make mix now at 0%. And if I start drawing now, what's actually happening is drawing with the face and with the colors, both with these colors as well. If we make it 50%, it will mix with the photo, but not as much as if it would mix at 100%. So if I start drawing, as you can see, we have a little bit here these colors, and we have the photo as well. So, but this doesn't actually look good. What we can do, we should change the round circle, the round brush, to some other brush. So how do we do that? If we go here to brush settings, and if you don't have this here, you can go to window and find here brush settings and press this one. So this is actually the brush that we need, and as you can see, it's a little bit different now. Let's make it this a little bit bigger. If I start drawing now, see what happens. It actually looks like a real brush. So let's make, for example, mix 100% and start drawing, and if we draw, see what happens. Looks pretty interesting, right? Like we can do a lot of weird stuff with it. We can make this rose go further away and so on. So a lot of pretty interesting stuff. I'm actually using this a lot in my works. For example, where do I use this? I will show you just as an example, so you better understand why do we actually need this mixture brush thing. For example, I created this thanks to mixer brush. Okay, this is number one. Or this, you can see they're getting like this. So this is also thanks to mixer brush. Another thing, what else? For example, this mixer brush again. Let me show you. For example, this part here, where this aquarium merges with his body, also thanks to mixer brush. And also these colorful things here, mixer brush again. So this is actually pretty useful, and I will show you how to create this stuff with mixer brush. Let's turn this off for now. And what we should do actually next is let's try something different. For example, let's turn off the picture, and here we had only one ellipse. But if we make few ellipses, for example, we can hold Alt on Windows or Option on Mac and drag. And if you hold and drag, we have a second copy here, but it's just on the same place. That's why we don't see it. So we have to take our move tool and move this a little bit. Yeah, like this. And let's create a third copy. And let's move it again. Now we can select all of them. So just hold Ctrl or Command if you are using Mac and press. So we can select all of them. Now just go to Edit and choose Free Transform or Ctrl plus T or Command plus T for Mac. And let's make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, like this, and press OK. Perfect. Now let's create a new layer. Let's take our mixer brush again. And what we should actually is we should change to our normal round brush. We'll go to brush settings, and which shows just a normal brush. Make sure spacing is 1, hardness is 100%. Now hold Alt again, press here. And as you can see here, we have now 3 circles selected. And if I start drawing, it actually draws with 3 circles at the same time. But we don't actually see the circles. This is because our wetness is at 100%. So if we go back and make sure our wetness is 0, and if we start drawing now, you see what happens? Now we can see the circles, and it actually looks a little bit like a spaghetti. So why did I show that? For example, if we go to Google and just write here Photoshop Mixer Brush, we can see a lot of things that have been created with Photoshop Mixer Brush. For example, this thing here, Photoshop Mixer Brush, or this thing here, again Photoshop Mixer Brush. What else? This spaghetti here, as you can see, now they have like here 3 circles, and it's also created using Photoshop Mixer Brush. Let's see. It's also used to create drawings from a photo. For example, I can, like this one. No, wait, this is not a drawing. It looks actually like a drawing, but it's not a drawing. They have, where is the picture that I usually look at? Okay, for example, this thing is created using Photoshop Mixer Brush, and it's creating from a photo. Another thing we can do, actually, like, let's turn on the photo and go to a new layer, and let's make sure wetness is 100, mix is 100%. We can hold Alt, and we can even take some part of the picture. Like, see, if I hold Alt or Option on Mac, I press, and as you can see here I have the picture, and if I start drawing, it starts actually drawing with the picture, with the body itself, and it doesn't take any colors that we have here. So it doesn't take any colors that we had previously on our circles. And so let's go to brush settings again and choose just this one. And if we start drawing now, you see what happens. We can make actually a drawing from this. So if I draw a little bit like this, I can continue drawing. So it's actually a pretty long work. Like, you have to be really careful in order to make sure it looks perfect, and so on, in order to make sure you don't make anything, you don't make things go like this, because this is horrible. Yeah, something like this, and it already looks like a painting a little bit. So that's it for this Mixer Brush tool. And next lesson we are already going to create this amazing 3D line. So see you in the next lesson, guys.